Hey everybody, in this video what we're going to do is we're going to add Customer 2 to the MPLS Layer 3 VPN and show how their routes are completely separate from the Customer 1 that we've already added. So right now we have Customer 1, that's right here, this green one and this green block are connected through MPLS Layer 3 VPN. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect the purple here and the purple down here through routers P3 and P5. And let's see, let's just show, let's enable these. Let's do that correctly. Enable. Show run. So we have the VRFs already defined. There's VRF customer 2, route distinguisher 22, route target 22, 22, and address family IPv4. We also have, let's take a look here. We're going to use Ethernet 02 to connect into this core switch. Okay, so we have EIGRP on here. So we have router EIGRP customers already defined, and we have the one customer, customer 1 is defined in there. We have OSPF running, that's for the underlay, and router BGP is also running to transmit. It's a internal BGP running to transmit those VPN v4 addresses across this fabric. All right. And there you see address family VPN v4 and address family IPv4 VRF customer 1, and it's redistributing EIGRP 10, which is running also on this. So that's how that's working. Show IP route. There we see the routes are all OSPF. Show IP route VRF. And we can look at CUST1. And there you can see it has these 180s, which are the interfaces that are connecting between P3 and switch 400. And you also see 10.10.200, which is over here. And you can see it's 172.16.10.4, which is the loopback for P4, and 10.180.10.1, which is via 180.168.39.10, which should be on switch 400. And it's also getting BGP 192.168.3.0 coming from this switch because we redistributed all the connected into there from on that switch. And really that 3.0 is, I believe that's the transit between the firewall and the switch. And 7 is actually the transit over to this other area on the network over here into this network. So that's like you would consider that an E line right over to there. That could be a layer 2, just a layer 2 connection. All right, so now that we have that, let's get started on the configuration. So the first thing is customer 2 is going to request, customer 2 purple, they're going to request that they want an MPLS circuit. So they're going to contact the service provider, and what the service provider will do is they'll get their routers ready. So we're going to use P5 to connect down to here and Ethernet 01, and P3 will connect over to this switch using Ethernet 02. So let's now start configuring this. So P3, what we want to do is we want to show run section EIGRP. And so we're going to go into router EIG. We're going to go into this EIGRP because that's what the customer is going to come in and say, I want to use EIGRP, I want to use OSPF, I want to use BGP. And then the service provider will say what they can support, what they do support. And in this case, we're just going to use EIGRP. So router EIGRP customers, that's what's running. And now we'll go into address family. So we already have an address family, IPv4, unicast, VRF, CUST1. So we're going to add CUST2. And we're going to give that the autonomous system 20. All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to go into topology base. And we're going to redistribute BGP 64600. So all the routes, this is for the internal BGP to actually be able to transmit the routes across this. Okay. And now what we'll do is we're in this address family. We're going to give it the network statement. Network 180, 168, and we're going to use 38.0, 0.0.0.3. That's what we're going to advertise. And we're going to exit. So on P3, we also want to go into that interface, which we're going to be using. So P3, we are using, let's do a do show interface status. Let's just make sure. Do show run do show IP interface brief. Let's look at that. All right, so we can use 02 or 03. So let's use 02 for this. So interface E02. And what we'll do is VRF forwarding, and we're going to do CUST2. Now remember, we already defined that VRF. So if I do a do show IP, do show run section VRF, we're going to see right here VRF definition CUST2. And there you go. That's what that's already defined. So you'd have to also define that if this was, say, a new order, a new customer, whatever that would be, if you're working on the service provider side. Okay, so we're in the interface. We'll now add IP address 180.168.38.1 and give it a 30-bit mask. So that's our IP address. No shut. Do show run interface E0/2. So we have VRF forwarding customer 2, IP address 180.168.38.1, duplex auto. Okay. So right now that interface is down. Do show IP interface brief. And it has an assigned IP address, but it's down because it's not connected to anything. All right. So that is number 1. That's our first, that's P3. We've completed the configuration there. So now let's go into P5. Show run section EIGRP. So I don't have any EIGRP set up on this one. Okay, that's fine. Show run section BGP. I do have BGP, yes, and show run section OSPF because this hasn't been used as a connecting to a customer. So there's no at this time EIGRP. So conft, we're going to go into router EIGRP customers. Doesn't really have to be named that. We're just going to be doing a named EIGRP mode. The important part is here, where we do the address family IPv4 unicast VRF CUST2. We should make sure we have that defined. And autonomous system 20. Top base. Redistribute BGP 64600. Okay. And let's get the network. So the network statement on this one is going to be network 180.168.38.4. And we're just going to use the next, we'll say we own this address space. Let's just pretend that. So on this one, we use 38.1 and a /30. On this, we're going to use, again, 38.4 and a /30. Okay, looks good. So our next step here is to assign interface 02. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go into interface 02. So on this one, well, on P5, let's see, we have E00 used. And E01, we should be able to just do E01. So let's just use E01. So let's exit out of here. Exit out of here. Interface E0, let's do a show. Do show IP interface brief. And yeah, we can see that Ethernet 01 is available. So let's do that. So interface E0/1, VRF forwarding, CUST2, IP address 180.168.38.5, 30-bit mask. No shot that. Okay, so that should be good. So we are now, so what we've done so far is we've redistributed BGP into this Ethernet, into autonomous system 20. Now let's go back here, do show run. We're going to go back to P3, section BGP. So what we have to do now is go in here and we want to redistribute EIGRP 10 into this address family for customer 2. So that's going to be our next goal. So let's do that. So I'm going to exit out of there. I'm going to go router BGP 64600. And I'm going to go into, so that we don't have to change anything here. We just have to go into address family IPv4 VRF. And this will be CUST2. And we want to redistribute EIGRP 20 actually. So we make sure we do the right one there. Because remember, we defined the autonomous system for CUST2 as 20. All right, so that should redistribute that into there. Exit. Do copy, run, start. Let's just save it. Okay, let's go down here. and exit router BGP 64600. And what we want to do now is go into address family, IPv4, VRF, CUST2, and we want to redistribute EIGRP 20, and that should be good. Exit and copy, run, start. All right, so now the service provider, the configuration's been done, and that's where we're going to end it right here. And we're going to go into the next step of finishing this order. So that's the first part of the order. They've configured the interfaces on both P3 and P5. So next it's going to be running cables, running the fiber, connecting the fiber to the customer, and making sure that's all working. So in the next video, we'll do that. Please subscribe. I appreciate this. Thank you. Thank you for watching.